As I said in my last video, I am a new fan of The Witcher, and I'm new to The Witcher 3. I picked it up when the next gen update dropped, and quit after 10 hours, and have now just came back as of March 29th, and finished the game, went through, and have done a full 2 playthroughs now at this point, so I feel like I can finally give my perspective on The Witcher 3 and my full review. The last video was kinda just me admitting to being wrong about my original thoughts on the game and talking a little bit about what I liked about it. This video I want to go in depth. I want to talk about the story, what I like, what I don't like, the world, and the gameplay systems here, because I think those are the 3 things that it does best, and I want to go more in depth for each one. So without further ado, what's going on, you guys? My name is Boogs, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to my full review of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So, for a little recap of the main story, Geralt of Rivia searches for his adopted daughter Ciri, who is being hunted by the Wild Hunt, a group of otherworldly riders that are led by Eredin. Ciri has something known as Elder Blood, giving her powerful abilities that can stop or alter worlds. Geralt travels across different regions, gathering allies, completing quests, and preparing for a final confrontation with the Wild Hunt. Along the way, he reunites with old allies like Yennefer and Triss. Now, for someone who doesn't know like me, I didn't really understand who these characters were in their history with Geralt. I hope to learn more about that as I continue to potentially read the books and play Witcher 1 and 2. So, in summary, in the end, Geralt and all of the allies you gather along the way face the Wild Hunt, and you have a giant final battle, in which the outcome will seriously depend on the choices that you have made throughout your playthrough. So Ciri can survive and become a Witcher, or there are other darker outcomes that can happen depending on the decisions that you made. Regardless, you ultimately defeat the Wild Hunt and continue his life as a Witcher, reunited with Ciri in the best outcome. So I believe that is the canon ending, as far as I know, especially based on what Witcher 4 looks to be. So that is the summary of the main story of The Witcher, and my thoughts on it are, I feel like this story really offers a compelling thing to keep you moving through the game. It is the best part of the game as far as I'm concerned. You have so many branching paths and romance options and decisions to make that can alter outcomes in many different facets, not just the ending, but in the way certain missions will play out, in the overall lives of the people around you, and the politics and the situations in the cities and the villages that you will go to. Things can really change depending on the decisions you make, and I loved every second of it. The story gets dark, it gets gritty, it gets happy at times. It is an emotional roller coaster of a ride that I think ultimately is so well written because it's drawn out so long, and not drawn out for no purpose. I mean, you're on this investigation, you're one step behind Ciri the whole damn way, and with that, you feel like hopeless at times, and then you get one more lead and you learn some new piece of information, and you're slowly piecing together what is really going on here and what has been happening, while meeting new allies and old allies along the way, and dealing with their stories and their outcomes, someone's wife, someone's daughter, helping other Witcher friends that you meet. There is so much different branching things that happen that it just made it this interesting world that you felt like these characters were real people with real consequences at risk. I loved every second of the story for The Witcher 3. Not only that, the Hearts of Stone expansion for the DLC adds a really beautiful story that I think is well written and creepy and dark and mysterious. Geralt gets involved in a contract with Olgard von Everick, a man who made a dangerous deal with a mysterious being named Gaunter O'Dim, who is also the Mirror Master. Now, O'Dim grants wishes, but he always twists them, bringing suffering and loss in the end. So Olgierd gained wealth and immortality, but lost his humanity and his loved ones. So Geralt is tasked with helping Olgierd fulfill a final set of wishes. As the story unfolds, it's revealed that O'Dim is far more powerful than expected, and he's essentially a supernatural being that cannot be easily defeated. So at the end, you can try to help Olgierd escape, or stand aside and let O'Dim claim him. If Geralt intervenes, you must go into the Mirror Realm and solve O'Dim's final challenge, which it is so sick going into the mirror realm, or you can stand aside and just let O'Dim take O'Geared for, the contract and the deal that he set him up, which was basically a double-edged sword. There was no winning. So the whole DLC was just so well written. It was short and sweet, and I thought it added so much to the game. I enjoyed every second of it. Now, I would go into the DLC for the Saint of Toussaint, or the Blood and Wine DLC, sorry. But I think I've talked enough about the story. I just will say this, the Blood and Wine DLC is like a whole new game in some regards. You have a whole new region, and I'll get into that region a bit more later on, but I think that DLC is phenomenal and even better than the Hearts and Stone. It's just, there's so much stuff to talk about there. I think I might save Blood and Wine for a separate video. I have some ideas there, so stay tuned. But the world here is really addicting to explore. Essentially, you'll be following the main story across a vast set of regions: Velen, Novigrad, Skellige, and the Saint of Toussaint for the DLC. You'll be doing side quests, exploring varied and unique locations from the question marks that you find on the map. You'll find new villages, fast travel points, caves, places of power, and quests. The loot is usually crafting components, herbs, swords, armor, gear, blueprints, and new monsters that you can discover. But the open world doesn't feel like it's copy and pasted. It feels lived in and real, and I just love it. And the loot that you find is usually pretty good. I mean, usually it's not at all as good as what you're carrying, depending on if you're using Witcher gear or not, or how optimized your build is. But it's good in the sense that you can sell your swords, you can make crafting items, you can make new potions. The loot is actually useful. It is not just throwaway stuff, at least from what I understand. The world has so many different things to find and places to see and secret quests to uncover, and it just has so much different vibes and feels depending on where you are. I think it is just one of the best parts about this game is really that exploration. It is something truly special. And if you like the world and the exploration here, the gameplay systems are really what make The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt stick, in a long term. They give you enough depth to feel like a monster hunter without really getting super overwhelming and crazy with what is necessary. Your combat is built around preparation as much as execution here. You're not just running in, hacking and slashing. Things can be approached differently depending on what you're up against. You have two main swords, steel for humans and silver for monsters. Learning the enemy's attack patterns is huge, and dodging accordingly matters a lot more than just tanking damage. And on higher difficulties, you're not going to really be able to be taking damage like that. Enemies will be able to 4-tap you, 3-tap you, and 2-tap you. So I really think that dodging properly and, not being super aggressive and greedy, you'll really start to feel why this gameplay and combat system is fun. But there's more to it than just swinging a sword. You have magic, or as the game calls it, signs. Basically, it's Geralt's magic toolkit. Each one has a distinct role. Igni will let you burn enemies, which is usually pretty good for certain crowds and things like that. Ard is a telekinetic blast that can, stun enemies or just knock enemies down to the ground. Quen will give you a protective shield, which honestly is all I use is Quen, which you can just spam it, save it, and basically just take a free hit and get in and get some extra hits yourself. Yrden is really good against specters, and you can trap them. And there's other enemies that if you use Yrden right, it can actually be pretty decent. Like the Fiends, I believe. I believe Yrden's pretty effective on them. Axii can also stun enemies, make them really drowsy. It's like a telepathic type of thing. Or you can even manipulate people's dialogue in certain story scenarios. You can build around this too, either treating them as support tools or leaning more into magic for like a hybrid playstyle. And then there's alchemy, which is honestly, in my opinion, my most underrated part of the game. I didn't really get into it until my second playthrough, and then when I did, I was like, holy shit. You have oils, potions, and bombs that all tie into that, prepared Witcher style of gameplay. And before a tough fight, you can coat your blade with oils that give bonus damage to specific monster types like necrophages or specters. Potions boost your stats temporarily, letting you hit harder, move faster, regenerate health, become immune to certain types of damage, things of that nature. And they also come with toxicity, so you can't just spam a potion. You have to actually, be pretty reserved with your potion usage and watch out for that toxicity meter that is on the top left of your screen. Bombs also add another layer, letting you disrupt enemies, destroy monster nests, or create openings in combat, which I really like. Your bombs mixed with your oils and potions along with using proper signs. You then get this nice dance of a Witcher using all of his tools that he has available in a very spectacular and visually appealing way. What's cool about this is how it all connects back to exploration, because when you're clearing those question marks, finding your herbs, your monster parts, and your diagrams, you're feeding the combat system. You're crafting better gear, you're upgrading potions, and discovering new alchemy recipes. That all comes from being curious about the world. And the progression system ties it all together. You earn ability points and slot them into categories like combat, science, and alchemies, letting you shape your Geralt however you want to. You can go full sword master, or you can be sign heavy, or a balanced build that, kind of uses everything. Then in the DLC, you get mutations, and you can push this creativity in your build even further, giving you some really powerful late game options. Overall, the gameplay reinforces the idea that Geralt isn't just some, sword wielding fighter. He's actually like a professional monster hunter. So all the contracts and the monsters and encounters feels like something you can study, prepare for, and overcome with the right tools instead of just brute forcing your way through. Which I kinda did that at first, and it does work, but the game is way less fun. And you also will be struggling a bit more, but you can do it. You can just brute force your way through if you really want, but it is not a good idea. So overall, with all of those things that I listed, I think The Witcher 3 is a phenomenal game, and personally has now become one of my favorite games of all time. As I continue to play it and continue to learn more and find new things all the time, I think this game is a must-try for anyone who tried it and didn't like it, or anyone who doesn't think they will. I think if you really give it a try, take your time, slow down, and get into this game, you will be pleasantly surprised for what there is to find. It is something truly special. Thank you all for watching today's video. Don't forget to drop some likes down below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you.